I was interviewed, asked the question, which is what would you do if you had to place and do a payment on a checkout page? So I said, what does checkout mean? And he said, you've come for an interview. I said, yeah, but checkout, like it doesn't even, that concept didn't exist. So he explained what an online cart is. And I said, wow, that's amazing.
What exactly is UPI and how are you connected to UPI?
UPI is the easiest way to pay. All you need is your phone. Now you don't even need the internet and it directly taps into your bank account. So all of us, actually India is one of the best examples where about 80 to 90% of us are already banked, which means that all of us have a bank account and even just Jan Dhan account holders can tap into, which is great. And anybody here heard of UPI Lite? Yes. Have you tried using UPI at the parking lot where you basically have no internet connection and UPI still works? So that's what it does. So, and how?
Why is it not working in the flights? I don't want to pay them cash.
Yes, that should happen. I think it should be happening in the latest UPI mandate, but that's where cards win for a little bit.
Let's talk about you a little bit. Let's try and understand you first. Okay? Parika, give them a context as to who they are listening to.
Okay, hard to talk about myself like that, but basically I've spent more years in payments than probably some of you have on this earth. So maybe that's a great introduction, but 17 years. I started in payments with PayPal, was one of the first technical product managers in the India market, actually outside of San Jose, which is a mothership, and was also one of the first product managers. Started my career in payments without knowing how online payments works. So let me take you back a little bit, 20 years.
What is the time that we're talking about?
2006. So I was interviewed, asked the question, which is what would you do if you had to place and do a payment on a checkout page? And there were two Indians who were settled abroad who were asking me, very good friends of mine still. One happened to be my first or second boss, and the other one is a very good friend. So I said, what does checkout mean? And he said, you've come for an interview. I said, yeah, but checkout, like it doesn't even, that concept didn't exist. So he explained what an online cart is. And I said, wow, that's amazing. And then I answered the question because obviously being a product manager, you should be able to solve things on the fly. And I had been giving a lot of interviews. So obviously it went off very well. He said, in India, don't you do online shopping? I said, what is online shopping? There are shops outside. So that's when I started off my journey in PayPal. And PayPal, by the way, happens to be one of the most successful companies which has actually broken the paradigm of card networks, banks, and everything else. So when I started, the whole concept of one-click checkout, which is you can pay like what you do with UPI on every single payment experience. And he was just talking about how do you pay in your cab. That experience was something we were talking about back in those days. So it feels like I'm writing a storybook when I'm taking you all back, but that's exactly how I started my journey.
Let me take you a little more back. Okay, what was the kind of educational background that you had? How did you land up to PayPal? That's something that we are starting off probably saying from the 10 of your journey and not from the 0 of your journey. So how did that journey happen for you? When did you decide that, you would want that job, and how did you get through it?
Okay, you're probably speaking to the wrong audience because, wrong person, but I'm not an MBA. So I just want to clarify. I wanted to do an MBA. I couldn't. Various reasons. And I'm a bachelor's in mathematics. I'm a master's in mathematics. And then I did another master's in computer science. And then I landed my first job. And not my first, it was actually my second or third. And I was doing a lot of work on the back end, as they say it. And it's really interesting, but it's not my thing. So I wanted to do something else. So I came back to India and I became a product manager. And that started my journey in terms of problem solutioning. So I really like what we've become as product managers now. But back in the days, product management meant just working with engineers and getting things shipped, as they say. But actually in our world, it was building things. So I started doing that. But because I had a computer science background, I understood how things worked at the back end. So that's how I started.
So, this debate is always there, whether you need an MBA or not for being a product manager. And all the people that I spoke to, all of them probably have told me that product managers are in supreme demand right now.
Yes.
Right? In your opinion, do you think the background that you had gave you more leverage? Or do you think somebody who does an MBA gets more leverage? And did you not think that if you would have done an MBA, the career graph or the course of your career would have been a bit different than what it is?
So it's actually 3 questions in one. Let me try to answer one by one. So I think I had an advantage because I came from a tech background back in the days that I'm talking about, because the entire product development life cycle as we see it today didn't exist. So we were taking concepts from the Silicon Valley. The whole concept of a product company didn't exist in India. IT services still happens to be one of the major exporters. So you have to understand, I'm coming from a time where, because I didn't get into an IT firm, Infosys, Wipro, I was actually a failure. So you should consider that as the context and then think about my choice as a product manager in terms of life and as well as career. So product managers were supposed to work very well with engineers. That was the main skill. And then it became the job of being able to work alongside the likes of Google, because Google and the rest started opening up their dev centers in India. And then product management became all about have an MBA, especially from an Ivy League school, become a product manager, and then become what Sundar Pichai has now become, which is the CEO of a company. Essentially, you call yourself the CEO of a product. And then that paradigm again shifted somewhere in the 2000, I would say right after the Goldman Sachs crash, where people realized that you need product to understand the business. Therefore, you need a product mindset with a business focus, and then you come back internally, and then the roles started splitting. And then we've come into the time now, especially post-COVID, where it's a whole new world. Now you have product managers who are essentially interviewing to become product managers, but they lack skills. So I've seen the kind of cycle, and it's kind of gone back now with Airbnb saying we don't need any product managers, we need product marketeers. So it's turned a full cycle. But I will say this, based on what we are seeing right now, product managers are in high demand because they bring the ability to be able to understand the complete life cycle and therefore be able to create what is needed to be able to add value. And I think that's the main thing. Everybody is looking at the bottom line and saying we need to add value. The days of adding to the top line and massive user growth are gone. So product managers understand the entire way of being able to add to the top line, middle and the bottom line. So I think it's going to be a profession which is going to be in high demand.
Okay. Did you answer all 3 of my questions?
Which was the third one, which is now do you need an MBA?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I should be transparent. I do teach a course in product management with Altuni. And I actually present a slide which many people would have seen, but there is data to back this up that you don't need an MBA to become a product manager. At the same time, there are significant differences in salary after the 7 to 9 year range. Now, if you ask me, the reason that happens is because the previous panelists were talking about networking. It's about you having a very strong connect. You're a very strong networked individual. Therefore, you know how to climb up the ladder, number one. Number two, you have the right connects to be able to give you references when you need them. And number three, you know how to manage people and manage businesses. So it depends on what you're trying to aspire to. But the right answer to this is you don't need an MBA. It's great to have an MBA, and it's a prerequisite to have an MBA with certain type of companies. The top 4, the big 4, which everybody knows about, definitely requires an MBA.
What kind of product jobs are aplenty now? Like when you're looking at product jobs, you said that product marketers are something that people are looking for, right?
Definitely.
Apart from product marketers, what are the kind of jobs that are available that aspiring product managers can take up and start working with? And from working in a big tech company to a startup to any or the other companies that they're going into, how do they differ?
So, it's a fallacy that only product managers get jobs in fintech, in big tech firms. It's not right. I think the days of understanding product only from being able to develop code along with engineers is gone. And I say this with a lot of humility that we tend to overuse the word product, and then we get into this massive cycle which is of downturn where product managers are being laid off in the hundreds and thousands. But obviously this is going to come back again. The job of a product manager is not just to do all the things that are mentioned. It's to work with people who are experts in their field. So I work with a marketer to say, okay, I have a GTM. What's the communication plan?
What is a GTM?
Go to market. By the way, for all those people, if you want to become a product manager, please learn lingo and just talk about verbiage all the time.
I will stop you every time I hear a lingo so that...
Oh God, you're going to be stopping me a lot.
Good.
But essentially, I have to work with a marketing person who knows how to communicate what I have built to the market. I'm a product manager. I talk lingo, like he's just stopping me at every point. Because of this reason, I need somebody who understands how do you tell somebody simply? So one, Mr. Ajay Banga, who's the CEO of MasterCard, he used to say this a lot, that if you're you're not selling a card, you're not creating a card. If you can tell and explain what a card product is to your grandmom, you're doing it well. And I used to always keep wondering, what does he mean? Why does a grandmom need to know what a card is? But trust me, go back 7 to 8 years, people did not ever want to use a card at everywhere except an ATM. A card was the same as an ATM card. And you would be surprised at the statistics now, but debit card, 15% of all debit card volume is on right now on POS, which means I can swipe my debit card and pay somebody else. So those are the changes that we've gone through. So coming back, I need to explain this in a simple manner. So I need a marketer. I work in a regulated environment. So I need to work with GRC, which typically in this world in India means legal and compliance. Somebody who understands RBI mandates. So the next question would be, what kind of qualification does a GRC professional have? Essentially somebody who's from the policy space. Policy is hot. Like I cannot even explain this further, but you have to understand how many policy jobs exist. So crypto came to India and then crypto got banned. But you know how much money was made by policy people because we were going, and not we, they were going to the RBI and presenting the case for crypto. So I need to speak to a policy person. I need to speak to a lawyer. Legal people are in huge demand because you need to understand what the legal script says. You have to play by the rules. Then comes technology. You have developers, you have QA, you have operation specialists, you have customer services operations. Apart from all this, you also have content writers. So all the content that you see, for example, your board here has been written by somebody who's actually copywritten, which happens to be you. And I'm sure there was a little bit of generative AI somewhere. But actually, typical content writers can take anywhere between 1 to 3 days to write one single line of copy of what you see on a page. You need UI, UX designers. All of this is not what product managers do. And apart from all this, you need to have business research specialists. So for example, what does the market look like? Will this situation that we see here right now exist in 5 years? So there are a lot of jobs in product. They come under the umbrella of product, but I would say they are product development jobs. And anyone who is in a tech career should be interested in knowing what job family they can apply to and not just